Some memories never leave you. Even if you spend your whole life trying to forget them, sometimes they find a way back. Mine came with a dog. My name is Thomas, and I am 54 years old. For 30 years, I stayed away from the house where I grew up. My parents were gone. The house sat empty on a quiet street in Maine, and the garden had grown wild. But the porch still smelled like old wood and pine, just as it did when I was a boy. That scent alone brought back a flood of memories. Stepping inside after so many years, I felt the weight of time pressing down on me. The floors creaked beneath my feet, and dust motes danced in the shafts of morning light. Every corner seemed to whisper stories from my childhood. Some joyful, others heavy with sorrow. My brother Jacob's laughter echoed faintly in my mind, a sound I had not allowed myself to remember for decades. The silence of the house was thick, broken only by the wind rattling the shutters. I was alone, but I could not shake the feeling that something was waiting for me. The morning after I arrived, I heard a soft scratching at the front steps. When I opened the door, there he was, a dog. He was old, graying around the muzzle, with tired eyes and a scruffy coat. He just sat there, staring at me, calm and unmoving. I opened the door slowly, expecting him to bark or flinch, but he did neither. He simply looked at me, as if he knew me. Around his neck was a collar with no tags, just a small rusted bell. That bell looked exactly like the one we had on Max. Max was the golden retriever my family had when Jacob and I were kids, but Max had died decades ago. This dog could not possibly be him. Yet something in the way this dog tilted his head, the way he placed his paw, stirred something deep in my chest. That night, I could not sleep. The dog stayed on the porch, curled up like he belonged, like he had always belonged. Memories I had buried began to surface. Building a fort in the woods with Jacob, Max barking wildly at a certain part of the forest, and the day Jacob went missing. Jacob was 8 years old when he disappeared. He said he was going to the woods, and I was supposed to go with him, but I stayed behind to finish a comic book. He never came back. They found his cap near the river, but there were no tracks, no answers. My parents never spoke of him again. My father drowned himself in work, and my mother faded away. I ran from it all, leaving the house and the memories behind. Yet here I was, and the dog was still there, waiting as if he had come for a reason. The next morning, the dog was in the same spot, staring at me with those knowing eyes. I opened the door, and this time he got up, walked past me, and lay down at the foot of the stairs inside, as if he had lived there all his life. I should have taken him to a shelter or asked if someone lost him, but something in my heart told me he was meant to be here. Later that day, I saw him sniffing around the old shed in the backyard, a place no one had opened in decades. Inside the shed, I found a box covered in dust, filled with old photos and a small notebook in my mother's handwriting. She had written things I never knew. About Jacob, about how he had complained of a man in the woods watching him, about nightmares, and about Max growling at shadows. She wrote that the day before Jacob disappeared, he had tied the bell from Max's collar to a string, saying it would keep the man away. She believed him, but my father did not. And then, Jacob vanished. At the end of the journal, one line chilled me. If someone ever finds this, please forgive me. I think Jacob knew something we didn't. And I think Max did too. That night, I dreamed of Jacob. Small, smiling, standing at the edge of the woods with Max beside him. He turned, pointed into the trees, then was gone. I woke up with a jolt. The dog was sitting at the door, waiting. I opened it, and he trotted out, turning to look at me before walking toward the trees. I followed deeper into the woods than I had ever dared as a child, past fallen logs and tangled roots, until we reached an old tree with a split trunk. The dog stopped and sat. At the base of the tree, half buried in earth and leaves, was a small bell. Rusted, cracked, but still intact. My hands trembled as I picked it up. It was Max's bell, the original one, but the dog's collar had an identical bell. I sat there for a long time, the dog lying beside me, his head resting gently on my leg. I did not have the answers, but I realized I did not need them. Somehow, this creature had brought me back here, opening a door I had shut for 3 decades. He helped me remember. He helped me forgive myself. In the days that followed, I cleaned the old house, framed one of Jacob's photos, and placed it by the window. The dog stayed for another week, then one morning he was gone. Only the bell remained. I keep it now, on a string above my bed. Sometimes it rings softly at night, even when there is no wind. Some dogs do not just love us, they carry memories. And sometimes they come back not to stay, but to help us move on.